on the track, yeah.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Relationships Unpacked with the trio.
It's good.
So
It's
it's
good.
your girl
It's good.
Tate with Sir Russell
Yeah.
and Sir Dave.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to build memories? Good ones, in
absolutely.
fact,
Definitely.
as usual.
Definitely.
Okay, so I welcome you all guys to today's episode. Today is going to be epic because we are going to be talking about family influence in romantic relationships. Guys, do you know that family and relationships, those things, they affect a lot. They affect each other a lot.
Yeah. They don't
For-
go hand in hand.
Yeah, they don't go hand in hand. They are not a toast coin sometimes. Because I've noticed that there are a lot of people who are in romantic relationships, but then their parents or their families are not in agreement with the relationships. And then
Yeah.
sometimes people end up marrying the wrong people because their family didn't want the person they wanted. And then the other times people get married to the people they didn't want because their parents be like, hi man, you see that girl next door, she's well mannered, she has everything that takes to be my daughter-in-law. You see.
So they play a major role.
Yeah, so families play a major role in destroying or making relationships. Because, for example, if I'm to date you, and then my family be like, oh, you see, say Russell. Oh, Russell is a good person, is a pastor and all that. But then they don't consider your character, how you react to things, how you talk to me, how you do everything. They forget that. And then when you are in a relationship and then you involve your family,
Yeah.
when you are to, let's say, today we are not talking, and then you meet my mother, and then my mother be like, hi my son, how are you doing? Then it creates a different environment between me and you, because sometimes you end
They're
up
very
in-
accommodative.
yeah, they are very accommodative. So if you have to break up, then the boyfriend has to break up with the whole family. You understand? So sometimes you end up being forced to be in a relationship that has ended a long time ago between the two of you. So for example, the love has been finished, like the love has been exhausted, but you're still forcing things because the family is involved.
Yeah.
God forbid. On my side. God
You
forbid.
see, you're not leaving that guy. That guy is very good. He's prayerful. He's good. He's intelligent and all that. We are now dating for the sake of the family. We are now in a relationship because the family wants it to work.
Yeah, it's pressure. It's pressure.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Aye.
there's an impression that your family gives you. This what you are saying is rather the bigger picture of the family actually being vocal about the person that you want to date.
Yeah.
There are people who live under a certain family who give them an impression. It might not be communicated that we don't like people like this in this house, but you get a kind of impression because of how your parents portray. So there is a shadow that is hovering upon you that makes you decide things, and you will not notice it. And that's the most toxic thing that can happen, that is actually happening to people and they're not noticing it. Low key, before anybody asks you about your boyfriend, you'll be asking, if I go with this person, would they approve of the person? Already, it's no longer your opinion that is at play.
Yeah.
And now the opinion that is at play is the shadow that you carry over, that is constantly telling you that this is not it, regardless of how you would want or how you would actually, the kind of person that you would want. So there's always this shadow that we have. So family influence goes deeper than that.
Hi.
It might be the environment that you grow up in.
Yeah.
The environment actually setting the standards for you, and you do not see it. So family, sometimes they're involved in your business and you do not know they're actually involved in your business.
Yeah, you're right.
They're not involved in your business. So that's another dangerous thing that family can influence, because before you think anything, before anybody tells you, be thinking, how is my mother going to react to this?
Yeah. For example, at my growing up, I knew that my grandmother didn't like people who go to a certain church. I'm not going to be talking about the church.
Yeah.
So the moment he realizes that the person is coming from that church, then man, no, you can't do that. Those people do not marry. Those people do this and that. So it affects you. Maybe you like the church, you like the people who come from there, and then you know that okay, I'm dating a person who's going to sit in church. How is my mother going to react? Like, how is she going to react when I tell her I'm dating a person from the church? So it's just something that affects relationships. And then the other times, you'll be like, my mother doesn't like men who wear skinny jeans.
Hey.
Like, hi, he wears skinny jeans. So, I mean, the reaction of my mother seeing someone in skinny jeans, they'll be like, huh? Skinny jeans. So, you see.
Yeah. So what you end up doing is that you end up choosing a husband for your mother, not for yourself.
Yeah, you end up choosing someone who suits your family. You end up choosing the person that your family wants. For example, my grandmother will be like, you see that pastor's child, that one is very intelligent and he's very chilled. If you see him at church, you never see him walking around. I like that Kelvin guy that you've been walking with. Hi, Kelvin is ill-mannered. He doesn't even know how to greet people. So already, Granny doesn't like Kelvin. Granny likes God knows. And then be like, hi, God knows. Hi, God knows is very nice. Even his brother Godwin. Hi, those people are so kind and all that. So originally, you won't be marrying the type of person you want to be with. Because I would go for someone who enjoys my madness, not a person who forces me to be normal.
And then you discover that Godwin spends time, like a church is very respectful and kind and amazing. But then that guy is the guy who is popping champagne in beer house.
Over there.
You see? So you end up marrying the wrong person. Like, people know how to fake things. We think we know people, but we know what they want us to know about them. So maybe Godwin's is this party person, this Power Rangers. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
So the family influence is actually dangerous. Why? Because you marry somebody into the family, you don't marry them for yourself.
Yeah.
So when they get married into the family, you expect them to have certain standards and uphold certain financial position or certain moral standards, because you are evaluating on the family that you have. And guess what? If you have not detached with your old family, you cannot make a new family.
Yeah.
So that is a blockage between the person marrying a person and not being able to establish a family outside of their family. So there lies a blockage, because you cannot build a family if you haven't divorced to the other family that you have been with.
Yeah.
So it's always a continuation of what I used to have. There is supposed to be a continuation, yet you're supposed to create new memories.
Yeah.
And that shadow is very dangerous.
Yes. Can you specify on that? Because that was very clear. I love the way you narrated it. But there's someone out there who is like, should I divorce my family? Like, should I forget about them?
It's not necessarily, you don't have to divorce your family. Now, your family gives you roots, it gives you backgrounds and everything.
Yeah.
But here is, you're meeting a new person. Right? So you have to be able to build a new breed of a generation, right? Between the two of you.
Yeah.
Now, by that, I mean there has to be new set of values that you uphold, because they are comfortable, because between the two of you. Not comfortable between the two of you and your mother or the father that you left at your house. Right? So there has to be some comfortability between the two of you.
Okay.
Now, we are going to build upon what we have learned, but we are not definitely going to replicate the house that we have left into our house.
No.
So there has to be a transition, because he might not be comfortable with the things that you were comfortable with in your house, or she might not be comfortable playing your mother who you left at your house.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a transition, because these are two different people. They're coming from two different setups. So there has to be a consensus, and not bring the other house, the old house, into the new house.
Yeah. I learned something new here. Have you noticed that when you marry for your family, you end up not being happy?
Yeah.
And then if you don't marry for your family,
Probabilities are
you end up not being happy again, because your wife will be, hey, she's talkative. Hey, people will be complaining because she's not the one they wanted you to marry. You understand? So most of the times, in fact, families affect relationships a lot.
Yeah.
Because when they say we don't like this person, they don't like him, they don't like her, they will never change.
There's need for establishment of family influence in every relationship. You need to understand that families are supporters; they are not players. There's a difference between a supporter
And a player.
and a player.
Yeah.
Now, a supporter doesn't go into the pitch and play.
Yes.
They support the team. They are there to make sure that the
Cheerleaders.
team, the cheerleaders of the team. Now you get decide on who to pass the ball to because you are the players.
Yes.
All they can do is cheer you on the good works that you were doing. And when you are down, they need to be cheering you. They do not need to come and play in the pitch.
Yeah.
It's between you and your partner. You are the ones who are playing. So all you need for them is support that they can give you.
Okay.
And a form of criticism for you to improve. But if that criticism doesn't benefit you, ignore it like a professional player.
Like a pro.
Like a professional player. So are you saying that when our families are saying, do not marry Tatenda, she's talkative, are we supposed to be listening to them or just ignore them like it's just a drop in a sea, it's just a speck of dust in a whole place with a lot of sand?
It's entirely up to you to then decipher if you can handle Tatenda's talkativeness. They view her as talkative, but is it affecting you that much? Because there's a difference now. There's a difference between you not seeing that Tatenda is talkative and people are seeing that she's talkative. And already you know you cannot handle a person who's talkative. And then there's a difference when people are assuming that her talkativeness will affect you, yet it might not affect you to the magnitude that they think that it will affect you.
Hush.
Okay. So
You have to assess it by yourself and ask yourself the question, can I stay with this talkative Tatenda based on the analysis that I'm making right now, not based on what they told me? Because they cannot assume for you. It's one thing not knowing, and it's one thing knowing and knowing if you can handle it.
okay. Are you
If they are
learning?
enlightening
I'm
you,
learning.
if they are enlightening you about a certain character that you haven't seen, now you need to investigate on that. But if you already know that this person is like this, they should not assume that I cannot handle you because you are my fish to fry, not their fish to fry.
Can I give you a scenario?
Yeah.
You know, people have different backgrounds and past circumstances that they've encountered in their lives. But let's say, for instance, maybe, you know, like in our days, there's a lady, she grew up very wild and crazy, and then she got transformed to a certain extent. And now your families are letting you that this is what happened in the past.
Giving you files.
Yeah, giving you files. But then you still want to go further with that person, despite the situations that you've had that they encountered in the past. How do we handle that? If there's someone out there who is having that situation.
This is the understanding that we need to have. Now, sin, when other people sin, we only view it as bad when it's magnified by people. The impact of the sin.
Yeah.
Right. So that magnification then we regard this other person as a sinner. But yet we have done so much in our life.
Yeah.
And it has not yet been magnified. Right. And then we still regard ourselves as saints because nobody magnified our sin.
Yeah.
Right? If a person is fully transformed, right, and they are clear about their past, and they have confessed about their past to you and tell you, you know what, I'm going to build on a new foundation. Here is somebody who's willing to transform. So you need to ask yourself, can I be a overseer of this person? Can I handle the voices of people speaking to me about the past and how much it's going to affect me? Can I be able to handle this person? Knowing what she has done, the people that she has been with, am I able to actually be still in a relationship and be comfortable with her?
Yeah.
You ask yourself that. Do you have the capacity and the ability to forgive and forget for what she has done? Not based on, so your decision should not be based on what people say, but you should ask yourself, do I have the capacity to ignore the negative voices who have nothing to do with what we are building on now? Or who do not have a clue of the foundation that we are building on now. We all have sins. People have sinned. But it's only the magnification of somebody else's sin that we are able to point and say, this one is a sinner because our sins have not yet been magnified.
Aish.
So everybody has sinned. The magnitude of sin is different. So we cannot say because this one has been publicized, then this one is truly a bad person. Ask yourself, to those who have been telling you, to those who will be advising you against this, against your marriage or relationship, ask them that, have you not sinned?
Hey.
We all have sinned and fallen short of your glory, Jesus.
So it's a matter of perception.
Okay.
Can you be able to handle that?
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that? I didn't want to use the word anointed to do that. Are you willing to do that?
Are you willing?
Can you carry that burden of people saying things and not affect you at the end of the day? So it's entirely up to you to see. You cannot lose a wonderful person because of their past, which was
Okay,
wrong.
can I ask you guys something? For example, there is a lady who stays somewhere near you, and then your mother be like, "Hi, I like this lady," and she truly likes her. And then she makes sure that you guys meet and, and you don't like the girl, but then your mother is saying, go for it, go for it, go for it, and then giving you some kind of pressure. Then you end up in a relationship with that person. Can you keep that relationship for your mother or can you keep it for yourself?
Can I answer first?
Yeah.
So honestly speaking, I wouldn't even get into the relationship because the moment I get there, I have already planned for failure. So the best thing I can do is to just say no from the very beginning, so that there won't be expectations from my mom and pressures from my mom. It's like, I don't think we are compatible. That's it. If she doesn't respect it, that's fine. But I cannot be forced to get into a relationship at the end of the day.
Okay. So, Sarah, do you have something to say on that?
On that note, for you to quickly see it, that's the wonderful thing that you can actually give yourself, to quickly see that this is a failed pursuit that I'm going to engage into.
Okay.
It's actually a wonderful thing. Then also, you never know where love comes from, right?
Hey.
But you should be able to have certain standards, like he has said, to pre-measure and say, these are the things that I would want. And if the girl is not like this, I'm not going to settle for it, regardless that my mother has vouched for her and all that. So it has to come from a point of, if I evaluate her and if I find her wanting, then at the end of the day, I'm not going to stay in this relationship because of my mother. We need to be real about that. Or you can be straight up real and say, you know what? This is not my portion. I'm not going to eat it, so that it won't choke you.
Okay. So I want to ask you guys, me and questions. What's the correct time after dating someone? What's the correct time for you to introduce that human being to your parents?
That's a good one. That's a
To
good
your
one.
family, either your parents, your sisters, your siblings, your aunts, whoever is in your family. What's the correct time for you to introduce your partner to them? What's the correct, after dating? How long should you date before you introduce your partner to your parents or any other relative?
Right. Interesting question. I would say it varies from house to house, right? The relationship that you have with your family determines if you can have those conversations generally.
Yeah.
There's some family setup where you cannot have that conversation openly because they are too scrutinizing about it, or rather the comments, or they will say, you're not ready to do this, you're not ready to do this, right? So you have different setup of houses where they actually are enthusiastic to know who are you dating these days and all that. So it differs between the family that you have. Your family determines actually that you have to introduce them quickly or not, because it's a conversation that has to be made, right? So also, if you are serious, then if you are serious with a person, there is room for you to then obviously introduce them. And the seriousness is based on the evaluation of seeing how much you're progressing in the relationship, not your energy in the beginning. It's how much you're progressing in the relationship and the challenges that you are facing, how much you have built in the relationship. Then we can consider that as a serious relationship. And then you can then get to introduce to your family if they are the serious type. But if they're not the serious type, you can might as well say, no, on these days I'm dating this person, so that they know. And also some of them might want to actually know what kind of a person they are and meet and actually make bonds with them. It doesn't matter if you do not then have a relationship that leads to marriage. I mean, you're not the person to fail. Why would you change yourself?
Failure is an event, not the name of a person.
Exactly. So most people are ashamed to say, I'll introduce this one and this one. As long as you feel comfortable to introduce to your family, as long as you are serious with the person, you have evaluated to actually see that the way we are progressing this relationship is a very serious relationship. Go ahead and introduce them to your family, kins. And in that, we know definitely that you are building a home. But the first thing that you need to do is establish a connection between the two of you. Don't go ahead with your broken relationship in front of your family so that they will see right through you and say, this is broken. This is broken. Our fathers and our mothers definitely know that this is broken. It's not going to go anyway.
Okay, so Dave, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
You've been quiet. What do you think is a serious relationship? But at what point do you see that, wow, I'm in a serious relationship? I want to know it from you. How do you tell that I'm now in a serious relationship? How do you become serious? Do you become serious like...
No.
Or maybe
It's never like that.
Okay.
But I think for me, I've only been in one serious relationship. Yeah. And I think for me, it was more of when I started to see our goals and visions kind of aligning together, then I could tell that we were going in the same path.
That's good.
It could be different ideas.
Yeah.
She loves this. She has this as part of her vision. But the fact that we were going in the same direction made me feel like we were getting too serious about everything. Yeah.
And then what happened?
It didn't work out.
Oh,
At the end.
Anyway, to close off on a sad note like this, But anyway, to whoever is watching, romantic relationships have got a lot to do with how you then connect with your family as well. You need to create a balance between that. You need to be able not to create problems. Your relationship should not create problems in the family. You should be careful to be breaking bonds. Now, understand the things that you share with them, and as well understand that there is little involvement or there's a certain substantial amount of involvement that your family has to be in a relationship. Build a strong relationship between the two of you, and then you can invite your family into the relationship as well. Because at the end of the day, if you break away from the family in a bad way, that's when you get your mother saying, I raised her. Look at what she's doing to me right now. I raised him where he is. Look at whatever they're doing now because of this new person. So the tension will then arise. So make sure that you preserve those bonds. But at the end of the day, the reality is that you have to grow. Grow out of your family, but you need to do it systematically, not radically, and create problems in the relationship. So thank you for watching this episode. From us, the trio, we are. Peace.
Yes.